But more often than not, it is unadulterated desperation. Desperation to please, desperation to be authoritative, desperation to seem gracious, desperation to be relatable, desperation to seem loving, not very convincing when mentioning love and family in the same sentence.
Got him! Got him!
While everyone thinks Meghan Markle's Netflix show is her safe space, one guest just destroyed her ego on live television with the most brutal insult imaginable. This is mixologist Payman Bahmani-Bailey casually demolishing 7 years of Meghan's acting career with 3 devastating words. But what happened next will change how you see Meghan's desperation forever. Season 2 of With Love Meghan was supposed to be her comeback moment. Celebrity guests, cooking tips, lifestyle content, all carefully curated to rebuild her image as the perfect hostess. Payman Bahmani-Bailey, a former New York lawyer turned mixologist, was invited to teach cocktail making. What could possibly go wrong with a friendly cooking segment? Everything. Because when you build your entire brand on past accomplishments, you'd better hope your guests actually respect those accomplishments. Spoiler alert, they don't. Here's the moment that has royal watchers cringing with secondhand embarrassment. Meghan casually asks her mixologist guest if he watched Suits, you know, the show that made her famous and launched her entire career? His response? No, I don't watch basic cable. He called her career-defining show Basic Cable. But wait, it gets worse. He continued as Markle laughed. Yeah, I like shows with curse words and stuff. Translation, your show was too boring and sanitized for my sophisticated taste. Everyone watching that moment knew exactly what just happened, a public execution disguised as casual conversation. The devastation deepened when you realize this wasn't just one person's opinion. Critics are calling this the perfect metaphor for Meghan's entire entertainment career. Sources suggest that Meghan's cooking show ranked 383 in 2025, while Suits reruns actually performed better. Think about that irony for a moment. Her old show that this guest just called Basic Cable is literally outperforming her current passion project. The show she desperately wants people to forget about is more popular than the show she's pouring her heart into. But here's the pattern break that reveals something deeper. Lady Colin Campbell allegedly watched all 8 episodes and described Meghan as coming across as pathetically desperate.
She comes across as pathetically desperate. Sometimes this approximates to earnestness. It is unadulterated desperation. Desperation to please, desperation to be authoritative, desperation to seem gracious, desperation to be relatable, desperation to seem loving, not very convincing when mentioning love and family in the same sentence. Quite forgetting that people's memories is not quite as short a term as her own, and possibly the only people who aren't with the alienation she has wrought in the Windsor, Markle, and Johnson families are the hidden tribes of the rainforest in Brazil and Harry herself.
Desperate to please, desperate to be authoritative, desperate to seem gracious. The guest's casual dismissal just confirmed what critics have been saying all along. This is exactly what happens when someone builds their identity around external validation. The emotional reality that's destroying Meghan's confidence? Even celebrity chef James Stark, who's cooked for King Charles, allegedly slammed season 2 as nothing but staged and fake, calling the entire production embarrassing. The humiliation runs deeper than one rude comment. Sources claim Stark turned down an offer to work on season 1 because he could see through the artificiality. Just because you know a good cook doesn't mean you are a good cook, he allegedly said, exposing the fundamental flaw in Meghan's expertise claims. But the most devastating detail? The awkward Suits moment happened in front of cameras that Meghan couldn't stop rolling. She had to smile through the humiliation and pretend it was fine while being publicly demolished on her own show. But here's what nobody saw coming about this humiliation, and the evidence about Meghan's reaction reveals something truly heartbreaking about her current mental state. The most shocking revelation about this entire incident is how Meghan tried to spin it afterward. The Duchess of Sussex laughed off the comment, but sources suggest her team immediately went into damage control mode, trying to frame the moment as iconic and showing how gracefully she handled criticism. But here's the manipulative truth. This wasn't grace under pressure. This was someone so desperate for validation that she'll accept public humiliation rather than defend herself. The woman who once commanded royal protocol is now grateful when people don't completely destroy her to her face. The Guardian's Lucy Mannon allegedly described the series as so boring, so painfully contrived, and so effortlessly whimsical that it does become almost fascinating. When your own show becomes fascinating because of how bad it is, that's not entertainment, that's public humiliation disguised as content. The cruelest irony that royal commentators are whispering about, Meghan spent the Bloomberg interview complaining about having to be inauthentic during her royal days, but her Netflix show is being universally criticized as fake and staged. Celebrity chef sources allegedly describe the cooking segments as completely contrived, with Meghan using pre-made pastries while pretending to be spontaneous. She told cameras, "Usually I don't enjoy baking because it is so measured. I love the idea of being able to rethink baking to be just a little more spontaneous." Then she immediately uses store-bought puff pastry. The authenticity she claims to value is exactly what she's failing to deliver. The guest who called Suits basic cable was really calling out her entire approach to entertainment: superficial, sanitized, and fundamentally inauthentic. Here's where the humiliation becomes truly devastating. Multiple sources report that With Love, Meghan Season 2 isn't even appearing in Netflix's top 10 in most regions. The show that was supposed to prove her entertainment value is being ignored by the very platform that's paying for it. The Telegraph allegedly labeled her the Montecito Marie Antoinette, while the Times reportedly called her a woman in need of some cash. When critics are questioning whether you're doing this for money rather than passion, your credibility crisis is complete. But the ultimate insult? Sources claim that even the celebrities making cameos weren't paid enough, suggesting that Meghan's show is so low priority that Netflix won't even properly compensate A-list guests. The most heartbreaking detail that exposes Meghan's current state is how she's allegedly trying to reframe this humiliation as empowerment. Royal experts suggest she's using the negative attention to claim victimhood while promoting her brand, saying critics are secretly going home and making single-skillet spaghetti. But that defense reveals the ultimate desperation. She's so hungry for relevance that she'll count hate-watching as success. The woman who once graced red carpets and commanded international attention is now grateful that people mock her enough to recreate her recipes. The transformation from Hollywood actress to royal duchess to humiliated lifestyle guru is complete. What started as one guest's casual dismissal of Suits became a perfect metaphor for Meghan's entire post-royal career: desperate, inauthentic, and ultimately forgettable. The saddest part? Even Meghan Markle was not prepared when the guest casually made a comment that left everyone frozen. She's so disconnected from reality that she genuinely didn't see the insult coming from someone she invited onto her own show? While she smiles through the humiliation and pretends everything is fine, sources suggest this moment represents something larger: the complete collapse of her entertainment credibility. When your own guests don't respect your previous work, why should audiences respect your current work? The question isn't whether Meghan was humiliated by her own guest. The question is whether she's so desperate for attention that she'll broadcast her own humiliation for content. And judging by her reaction to the basic cable comment, the answer is a devastating yes. The girl who once protested sexist ads and demanded respect is now laughing along when people insult her life's work to her face. That's not growth, that's surrender disguised as grace.